Hi guys, it's Katie with Limitless You Health Coaching, your custom approach to weight loss. And did you know that you make over 200 food decisions every single day? And if your willpower is a little bit weak and you're stressed and you're busy, it's really hard to make healthy choices. But what you can do is manipulate the environment around you to make it easier for you to stick to those healthy habits that you've created. The one area we spend a lot of time in, and you probably do too, is the kitchen. And this is where a lot of our food choices are made. So I want to go over a few tips that you can start implementing right away. Things like organization, what you keep on your counter, how you're preparing your meals and your snacks, and how you're placing them around the house. I'm going to tell you how to make your snacks, make them healthier, and make them more appealing to you so you want to eat the foods that are right for you and that are the best healthy choices. But first, let's talk about how you organize the food that you have in your kitchen. First thing we're going to look at is your pantry. What I like to do in my pantry is I like to organize it by the style of food. So when I'm trying to decide what I'm eating for the week, I know exactly where I can find my protein, my produce options, and then all of my grains. Also, when it's laid out this way and you're making your grocery list, you can see very clearly what do I have for whatever type of meal you're trying to make. If it's all bundled together or it's all, stacked in front of each other, it's hard to see what you have and you can end up buying more things than you actually need. What we also do is categorize all of our condiments. So we have all of our oils and vinegars, all of our almond butters, honey, and all of our other types of condiments, like our spicy condiments. Again, when things are categorized, it saves you time and it saves you money because you don't end up buying more than you actually need. A staple for us, Ziploc bags. We use these Ziploc bags to put to portion out our food into snack size portions, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in just a little bit here. Also, another really important tip is keeping things out of sight and out of mind. Now, when you're at the grocery store, they place the foods they want your kids to buy at their eye level, and they place the foods they want you to buy at your eye level. Well, if you don't want to be eating certain foods all the time, put them out of sight. It's really hard to do this if you have kids because they enjoy snacks that maybe aren't right for you. So put those foods somewhere where you don't see them all the time, but you know where they are. So we have all of our liquor up here. And in this box right here, these are all of my baking goods. And some like other little snacks are in here as well. I have the hot chocolate in this little corner. But also, I want to show you how I ended up doing this in our fridge as well. Okay, or excuse me, in my freezer. If I want to have a snack, I have to go into the freezer, and I have these little Hershey Kisses. And that's another tip for you. If you want something sweet, something like Hershey Kisses is a great option, or dark chocolate, because it's small, so you can eat it in portion sizes. And then if you put it in the freezer, it's actually going to slow you down because it's hard, it's frozen, so it's going to make it just a little bit harder for you to munch through it really quickly. Let's talk a little bit more about how we're going to organize your fridge. So what we like to do is categorize our food again. I'll show you up here. We have our dairy products up here. We have our meal prep food, proteins, produce. Now, our produce is in these drawers, but typically I recommend that you leave your produce out so you can see what you have. And remember I was talking about those Ziploc bags? I take my produce and I put it in portion sizes. This is about 1 cup of broccoli. So when I decide that I want a healthy snack, instead of seeing a bag of broccoli and thinking I don't have time to wash, chop, or do anything with it, it's already prepared for me, so I can just grab it and go. If you come home from the grocery store and all of your produce is in those green bags and you just sort of stick it in the crisper, next time you feel like having a healthy snack, if those veggies are just sitting in the crisper, you're not going to want to take the time to prepare them. So come home, wash them, chop them, and then put them in those portion-sized bags or put them in clear Tupperware. Now, we're leaving on a trip soon, so there's not a ton of stuff in here. But you can see that we like to keep it nice and clean and organized. Make sure you're always cleaning out your fridge, because again, if you just have stuff all stacked in front of each other, you're never gonna know what you have. And then pull your produce out of these bags and have them at eye level. Same thing with our freezer. We categorize it very similarly. We have produce and ice cream, right? Because those go together. And then we have our bread, and then most of our carbs and protein are over here. So we have fish and chicken and turkey, and then we'll have sweet potato fries and gluten-free bread. Spices categorized by the type of flavor, or have them color-coded, or have them alphabetical. So it's easier for you to cook at home. The other thing is, are you doing meal prep? As you can see here, I have a crock pot going. This is a family-sized portion of chicken, and then I just put a whole jar of salsa on top, put it on high for about 2.5 hours, and that's gonna give me a whole week's worth of chicken. So if you have a large family, even if you don't, and it's just you, this is a great way to save money. Buy that chicken in bulk and have that ready to go. Now, if you're getting more into meal prep, you might wanna set up a meal prep station, sort of like we have here. We have all of our Tupperware, all of our lids, we have glass, plastic, and we have them in varying sizes and shapes. Prepping your food at home, planning your meals, this is the #1 tip to getting on track with healthy goals. The other thing about keeping your kitchen healthy and making it something that's working for you is checking, what do I have on my counters? If you have a bag of cookies, or a jar of nuts, or a jar of candy, you're always gonna be sticking your hand in there and always eating them. So keep your counters pretty clean, but do always have a bowl of fruit. Again, we're traveling soon, so it's kind of sad looking right now. We just have a few limes, but typically we'll have some apples and bananas in there as well. On the rest of our counter, it's supplements and appliances, but we don't keep a lot of food out and about. Otherwise, we end up snacking on those things. We like to keep our snacks in here, as I mentioned, and make them easily accessible. Healthy nuts, rice cakes, these are right here at my eye level. And then the things that we don't want to be snacking on are up here. I bet you hadn't thought of this before, but when you light a candle, when you play soothing music or like jazz music, or when you dim the lights when you're eating, you're actually gonna eat slower, which means you'll get fuller faster. Also, size totally matters when it comes to the plate that you eat on and the color that you eat on. So we have a ton of white plates, and the benefit of white plates is when you serve yourself on a white plate, you actually eat less, and this is why. Let's use the example of spaghetti. If you put a big dollop of spaghetti on this plate, the color of that red sauce is gonna contrast from this white plate, and you're gonna think, wow, that's a lot of spaghetti, and you're not going to put as much on there. So if you were to eat spaghetti on a plate that was red, the red of the spaghetti sauce would blend in with the plate, and your brain doesn't register that it's so much food, or that there's a difference between the plate and the food itself. So eat on white plates when you can. And then use smaller plates. Of course, maybe you've heard this one before. If I fill up this plate with one piece of chicken and some broccoli and some rice, it's gonna look like a lot of food because it's filling up this plate. If I fill this plate up with the same types of foods, you're gonna end up eating maybe 2 portions instead of 1 recommended portion size. So white plates, white dishes, and use the smaller ones when you can. And finally, the last tip I want to tell you about is don't serve yourself straight from the table. Leave whatever you cook, like we'll do tacos, and so we'll have the meat sitting on the stove. We'll have on the counter a cutting board full of lettuce and jalapenos, and maybe we'll have some cheese and sour cream and guacamole, and we'll leave it all on the counter. So you serve yourself at the counter and then you go sit down. People will eat 20% less food if they have to get back up and go get a second serving. If you leave the food on the table, it's right in front of you. And it's sort of like not leaving junky food on the counters, because if you see it, you go, am I hungry? Probably, let me just eat this now. So if the food is sitting on the table, you might be eating more even if you're not hungry. So leave the food on the stove or take it out of the oven and take it away from the table, so you have to actually think about it. Am I hungry? Do I want to put the effort forward to go and get more? And of course, my #1 tip for anyone who's trying to make healthy changes, where it's starting in the kitchen, is make sure that you're taking time each week to plan your meals. And when you come home with your groceries, cook your protein, cook your grains, make a big batch of those things, wash and chop your produce, store them in clear containers at your eye level, put them in Ziploc bags or in portion sizes. But #1, just make sure that you're taking time to plan your meals. You're gonna save time, you're gonna save money, and you're absolutely gonna save your health. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you have more questions or if you have your own ideas about how you help your kitchen work for you. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, December 13th, 14th, something, I don't know, but I'm excited to tackle this week. And there's no snow yet, but our cable tower is being delivered today, so I'm super excited. And they were saying that if there's snow, what they do is put the cable tower on a sled basically and slide it into the back of your house. But as you can see, it is just a dirt pile and it's raining, so this is going to be a really muddy experience, but I hope it goes well. Here comes our cable tower. Let's see how these guys do getting the cable tower through our muddy, muddy yard. It is officially finished and time to introduce you to our home gym, which we are so excited about, especially in these Minnesota winters. No one wants to leave the house, so we can do everything here. So for cardio, we have our bike. It is a pain, but it gets the job done. We have some rings set up. We'll probably move these because they sort of seem random and in the way currently. Just delivered today is our cable tower. The brand on this is something, Bodycraft. And it came with a little booklet of workout ideas, which is kind of cool. You need something creative. Maybe I can make a video about things to do with bands or cables, because you know, if people travel, most hotels will have a machine like this, and I already broke this thing, so whoopsies. It came with all these attachments, really common handlebars and ropes, foot attachments and bars. Love it, okay. Cable tower. Then we have our dumbbells, and each one of these dumbbells has these little plates on here. These are 5 pounds each, and you stack them onto the metal part here. Really excited, super easy to change all those out. Then we have our squat rack. Love it. And on our squat rack from Rogue Fitness, we have plates. We go, let's see here, there's 25s, 35, 45, and 55s. As you can see, we've already been using our bands on here. Chris was doing some one leg squats on here, or some lunges. And then we have this awesome bench where you just push it down with your foot and it can adjust. It can go totally vertical or whatever you want. And then attached for it, or it comes with it, is this seat. So I'll show you. The seat can just go in here. I'm doing this with my left hand. Okay, hold on. Not so coordinated. All right, perfect, see? So then you have a seat for your bench. We have little change plates that are 2.5 pounds. We have 5 pounds and 10 pounds. And then I got one of these balance pads for if we want to do hip thrusts. And you can put that under the bar against your hips. And then that kettlebell we've had for a while. All of our bands, we just need like a little coat rack or something cute to hold all of those. And then something else that I didn't know was gonna be so expensive, but so glad we have it, is this glassless mirror. This material is like, see that? We had these at the dance school, or the high school where I teach or coach. And then when I was in college, we had these. So it's almost like a really shiny foil, but it's not actually glass. So great for gym selfies, great for seeing whatever you're supposed to be doing, watching your form. But this was almost like $500 from a place called Rose Brand. But it's awesome because then you don't have to install anything on the wall and you're not gonna break it if it falls. So this is it. Oh, and then also, I forget what this is called, but at the gym, they're usually in the corner. So you put this part into a bunch of plates, and then you put the bar in here, and you can do rows with it. You can do back stuff, shoulder stuff. It's a really versatile tool. So this is it. This is our gym.
Still fall on my face sometimes. color inside.